my fabulous listeners. Welcome back to Fabulous Fun Fridays. I'm your host, Dr. Deitra Payne, and this is episode 2 of our journey to turn your Friday into pure magic. If you missed our premiere episode last week about turning failures into feedback, go back and listen. But first, stick around because today we're talking about something that's going to change your entire life perspective. Today, I'm diving deep into why being weird isn't just okay, it's your actual superpower. I'm talking about embracing your authenticity, celebrating your quirks, and why fitting in is literally the most overrated thing since people thought the earth was flat. Okay, confession time. In school, I was painfully shy, like hide behind my hair, pray the teacher doesn't call on me shy. I had so many thoughts and ideas bouncing around in my head, but getting them out of my mouth, that felt impossible. While other kids were raising their hands and sharing their opinions, I was quiet. I was in the corner, convinced that if I opened my mouth, something weird would come out and everyone would stare. Spoiler alert, I was probably right. Something weird would come out, but I didn't know yet that weird was actually wonderful. I spent years thinking my quiet, observant nature was a flaw, that my different way of seeing things was something to hide. But you know what I discovered? All that time I spent quietly watching and thinking, it made me incredibly good at understanding people and noticing details others missed, and at creating content that actually resonated with others, like hopefully this podcast. My shyness wasn't a weakness to overcome, it was a strength I needed to understand. Now, let's talk about science, because I'm not just making this stuff up just to make us all feel better about our quirks. Dr. Brené Brown, the shame and vulnerability researcher who basically became famous for telling us it's okay to be imperfect, found that authenticity literally rewires our brains for resilience. When we show up as ourselves, our stress hormones decrease and our confidence hormones increases. But here's the kicker. A study from Harvard Business Review found that employees who felt that they could live authentically at work were 42% less likely to say they intended to leave their jobs in the next 6 months. Authenticity isn't just good for your soul, it's good for your career. And get this, researchers at the University of Rochester discovered that people who live authentically have higher self-esteem, better relationships, and are more resilient when life gets tough. Basically, being yourself is like taking a daily vitamin for your mental health. Isn't that fabulous? Think about it. When you're pretending to be someone else, you're basically running a 24/7 performance. That's exhausting. It's like trying to hold on to a sneeze all day. Eventually, something's got to give. So, if being authentic is so great, why do we spend so much energy hiding our weird? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because we're about to get real. From the time we're tiny humans, we've learned that fitting in equals safety. Little Timmy gets laughed at for his dinosaur obsession, so he learns to hide it. Little Sarah gets teased for her loud laugh, so she learns to giggle quietly. We're literally training ourselves out of authenticity. Social media doesn't really help. We see everyone's highlight reels and think, I need to be more like them. But here's the thing, those people are probably looking at your highlight reel and thinking the exact same thing. It's like a weird cycle of everyone trying to be everyone else. No wonder we're so confused. Our brains are wired for belonging. Back in caveman days, getting kicked out of the tribe meant death. So our ancient brain still thinks that being different equals danger. Thanks a lot, evolution. Way to make authenticity feel like a life threatening choice. But here's what our caveman brain doesn't understand. In today's world, different doesn't equal dangerous, it equals valuable. All right, let's get practical. I've developed what I call the Weird Advantage Framework because, yes, I'm still that person who loves acronyms. So let's start with W. Welcome your quirks. Stop apologizing for what makes you different. That thing you do that makes people go, that's so you. That's your brand, baby. I have a friend who organizes her books by color instead of author. Is that weird? Maybe. Is it memorable? Absolutely. E. Express without apology. Stop prefacing everything with, this is weird, but just own it. Instead of, I know this sounds strange, but I love collecting rubber ducks. Try, I collect rubber ducks and it brings me joy. Watch how differently people respond when you're confident about your interests. I, investigate your authentic self. Ask yourself, what did you love as a kid before anyone told you that it was weird? What activities make you lose track of time? What would you do if no one else was watching? That's where your authentic self is hiding. R, resist the comparison trap. Every time you catch yourself thinking, I should be more like them, stop and flip it. I'm grateful I'm not like everyone else. Now, I can tell you, I love being different. I think being different is fabulous because the world doesn't need another copy. It needs the original, you. D, declare your weirdness proudly. This is the scary part, but also the most powerful. Start small. Share one weird thing about yourself this week. Maybe it's your obsession with true crime podcasts, or the fact that you name your plants and talk to them. Own it! Now, let me tell you about some famous people who turned their weird into wealth. Lady Gaga wore a dress made of meat to an awards show. Most people would call that weird. She called it art and became one of the most successful artists of our generation. Now, what about Dolly Parton? She's been wearing rhinestones, wigs, and saying exactly what she thinks for decades. When people called her style too much, she said, it costs a lot of money to look this cheap. I love Dolly Parton and I love that expression. She turned what some people call as weird into a $1 billion empire. Even Albert Einstein said, I'm enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. This guy literally stuck his tongue out as photographers and refused to wear socks because he thought they got holes too easily. Now, what people called as weird helped him to think outside of the box and revolutionize physics. Okay, here's your challenge for the week. And trust me, this one is going to be fun.
Yeah!
Okay, for day 1 through 2, which I'm calling the Weird Audit, make a list of everything about you that you think is weird or that you hide from others. Don't judge it, just write it down. Now, day 3 to 4, the joy check. Look at your list and circle one thing that brings you genuine joy, even if others don't get it. Day 5, the small reveal. Share one weird thing about yourself with someone you trust. Watch their reaction. I bet it's going to be more positive than you expect. Now, for the weekend, it's the celebration. Do something authentically you that you've been hiding. Wear that colorful outfit, sing karaoke to your favorite Broadway song, or finally start that weird hobby that you've been thinking about. Remember, your weirdness isn't something to overcome, it's something to celebrate. Isn't that fabulous? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up now. So listen, you fabulous human beings. In a world of copies, being original is the ultimate rebellion. Your weird is your wonderful. Your strange is your strength. And your quirky is your queen energy. Stop trying to fit into spaces that weren't designed for you. Create your own space where your authentic self can shine. The people who matter will love you for you. And the people who don't, well, they're not your people anyway. So remember, normal is overrated. Boring is forgettable. But weird is unforgettable. So, keep being fabulous, keep being weird, and I'll see you next Friday for another dose of life-changing realness.
This has been Fabulous Fun Friday, where we celebrate the beautiful weirdness that makes you you. Dr. Deitra C. Payne is not a licensed therapist or medical professional. She's just someone who's learned to love her weird and wants to help you love yours too. If you're struggling with serious self-esteem issues or mental health concerns, please reach out to a qualified professional. Your mental health matters, and there are amazing people trained to help you. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any organization or employer. While we strive to keep the information accurate and up to date, we make no representations or warranties of any kind about the completeness, accuracy, or reliability of any information discussed. Any reliance you place on information from this podcast is strictly at your own risk. We recommend consulting with qualified professionals for specific advice related to your individual circumstances. This has been a production of Fabulous Coaching, Training and Productions, LLC. Thanks again for joining us for another Fabulous Fun Friday, and we'll see you next week for more fun, laughter, and great talk.